All right, so this big data firm, the tainted big data fame, Cambridge Analytica, now being accused of manipulating the US elections. Are political parties here in India also guilty of manipulating audiences, manipulating elections? Joining us here in our studios, Kshitij Adlakar is from secugenius.com. We also have Narendra, Taneja, spokesperson of the BJP, Sanjay Jha, spokesperson of the Congress, Saket Modi is ethical hacker, Gopal Shankar Narayanan was a lawyer leading, Supreme Court lawyer leading the fight against 66A of the IT Act. Pranesh Prakash is policy director of the Center for Internet and Society. Let me start with you, Narendra, Taneja. We've been speaking to Congress leaders. You heard the interview that we did with Divya Spandana. Randeep Surjewala has also been speaking today. They are outright, flat out denying any connection between Cambridge Analytica and the Congress party. On what basis are you continuing to make this claim that yes, they have employed the services of Cambridge Analytica?
Well, what's so new if they denied? They denied Beaufort, they denied Commonwealth, they denied 2G. I mean, they denied. Of course, they won't admit it. We know that. But you have to go by, you have to go by the facts. Look at, for instance, the unusual traction that Rahul Gandhi's social media accounts, Congress Party social media accounts, they, the way they use social media and especially the kind of traction that they got. And we seeing the same thing in Karnataka now. We're seeing the same thing in Karnataka, and also we have seen that in Punjab recently.
No,
so it's
just
very,
because
and of course,
Rahul Gandhi's Twitter is getting a lot of
talking,
traction, how does that mean that they have links with a tainted data firm? I don't get it. Maybe that's in keeping with the changing mood of the nation. Who knows?
Is harvesting, data mining, and the way the entire thing works. It's not that only Congress has got people who specialize in such things. We also know when the government's minister talks about it, he talks with some sincerity and information. You really want the country's minister would not talk on such issue, unless the minister is absolutely sure.
Let me get Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, have anybody in your party, Rahul Gandhi or any member of the Congress party, ever met with any representative of Cambridge Analytica? Do you have any kind of contact with Cambridge Analytica? Because the direct charge, and from no less than the Union IT Minister, is that you are employing the services of this tainted big data firm.
Zaka, I'm glad you asked me that question. Let me tell you with full authority here that Ravi Shankar Prasad has indulged in a malicious, malevolent campaign. It is very irresponsible on his part, and we will consider legal consequences against him. It is a blatant lie. It is a brazen and untruth. And this is for the benefit of your viewers. The BJP is lying through its teeth. And let me tell you why. There is evidence to prove that there is a firm which we all know called Ovlino Business Intelligence, which is, by the way, got a JDU guy called Amrish Tyagi, who is the son of KC Tyagi, and they actually serviced the BJP JDU campaign in 2011 in Bihar. If anybody's worked with Cambridge Analytica, it is the BJP. In fact, on the LinkedIn profile of the director of this company, they said we worked for the 272 campaign for the BJP. Why is the BJP lying?
Okay, let Taneja respond to that.
I mean, the BJP...
OBI is an Indian partner of Cambridge Analytica.
One more point.
Amrish Tyagi is KC Tyagi's son. KC Tyagi is your partner in Bihar.
The breach of data is
OBI's director Himanshu Sharma's LinkedIn says that they've worked for 4 elections for the BJP in the past. Respond to that.
You see, Rahul Gandhi ji, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has met with Mr. Tyagi. He has met him. What were they discussing? Cinema, Bollywood, songs,
please answer the
weather.
Question.
Number two, Mr. Rahul Gandhi was in California recently. We all know that. And Congress IT brain, Mr. Sam Pitroda was also there. They had number of meetings there. And the fact is that now, because they're in such a great hurry, they feel that if they really use IT, they use social media, harvest data from wherever they can get, they will come to power in 2019.
Answer the question. Answer the question, sir.
Completely ignoring the Indian laws.
Answer the question.
They're completely ignoring the Indian laws, IT laws.
Answer the question. What link does the BJP have with OBI? Have you employed the services of OBI? Amrish Tyagi is KC Tyagi's son. What link does that have with your party? JDU, after all, is an alliance partner. OBI's website says we worked for JDU BJP in 2010 and we've worked for 4 elections for BJP, including Mission 272 in 2014. Are you denying all of that?
Zaka's success has many fathers. There are thousands of people, thousands of firms, thousands of websites. They claim they work for, they are the people behind our success in 2014. There are thousands
Zaka,
of them.
there is
They can
documentary
claim whatever.
evidence.
And in
I have
2010,
the MOA,
social media scene was
I have
not,
the memorandum
social
of
media
articles
scene
of
was not what it is
association.
today.
I have documentary
8
evidence
years ago,
with me.
9 years ago.
I have documentary evidence with
quick
me.
word, what is the documentary
We have
evidence?
never
I need to open
hired.
this
We
up.
have never used,
I need
we
to
have
open
never
this
hired.
up to our other panelists. Quick, 30
We have
seconds.
not hired, we have
What
not used
documentary
their
evidence
services.
do you have, Taneja?
We have, let me tell you, Zaka, we have documentary evidence that SCL's entity, Oblino Business Intelligence,
Yeah.
a company owned, by the way, by the JDU's Amrish Tyagi, is actually got the contract to work on that election. I mean, you don't need any further evidence of the BJP's involvement in using Cambridge Analytica. And the very critical point, Facebook, by the way, has a person as a policy head. Remember, the real culprit is Facebook as well, which has allowed a breach of contract to happen and accounts to be given, data to be given to the political party. Facebook has got in the public policy head a gentleman who is, by the way, a known BJP sympathizer.
Okay, I want to open this up, please. I want to open this up. Let me go across to Saket Modi, to Pranesh Prakash and Gopal Shankar Narayanan. Saket Modi, you're an ethical hacker. Has it got to a point where we should now start fearing whether Indian voters are going to be manipulated by political parties using these big data firms through our FB profiles, through our Twitter profiles? Has it got to that?
Zaka, it's actually gone to a point which is far more scary than just manipulating the votes. What we forget is basically every decision of ours is based on the experiences that any human being gathers while he lives his day-to-day lives. Today, thanks to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we are, when we are being tracked over the phone by Google and Facebook 24/7, there is a very high probability that, they would be able to predict what we would do next far more accurately than what we can ourselves think of, thanks to data science techniques which are available. One small implication of that is manipulating voters to vote for a particular party, but there's a much bigger debate out here where can big data analysts using the available information in the social media use to manipulate human minds and hack human minds to make them think in a particular way and then behave in a particular way. And technically I can say that is to a large extent possible.
No, Pranesh Prakash, I mean, it's one thing for big data companies, big social media companies, to use our profile and profile information to sell products, all kinds of products. That's one thing. As condemnable as that is, I think voter manipulation, voter behavior manipulation is far serious because it strikes at the very heart of democracy. The fact that a voter, he or she, can, of his or her free mind, choose who they want to vote for with 100% discretion. Are we being played, for want of better words?
In tech policy yet. This is an all-male panel, unfortunately. As to your question, I believe the crux of the issue here is not voter manipulation. There hasn't been any kind of independent academic study that shows that this marketing firm called Cambridge Analytica has actually had any success. So all that we're going by is their own bluster saying that they had these great successes. Let's remember that apart from Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, one of the other presidential hopefuls in the US, was also their client, and Ted Cruz performed abysmally. So we shouldn't just go by the marketing material provided by a marketing firm and say that they have all these kinds of magical powers at their hands.
No. One second, Pranesh, I'm going to play out in just 1 second. I'm going to play out.
Wrong.
I'm going to play out Christopher
wrong.
Wiley's interview. Okay, Christopher Wiley was the former research head of Cambridge Analytica, and the stuff that he's revealed is absolutely scary because he says in 2014, way before Donald Trump announced his candidature or even intention to run, in 2014, they were testing words like immigrant, Mexican wall, make America great again. They were trying to find out what response these words would get, not just in the 270,000 people who took that survey, but across 50 million Facebook profiles, and that is scary. Can we just play that out? This is the man, this is the global whistleblower who broke this huge story. Mark Zuckerberg, can I just play out Christopher Wiley's interview? He spoke exclusively to CNN, and some of the stuff, ladies and gentlemen, that he's saying is extremely, extremely scary. I'm going to come back right after this and bring in the rest of our panelists into the debate.
Robert Mueller or his investigators contact you, will you cooperate?
I'm happy to chat. Absolutely. This is why I'm coming forward.
Well, they said that they've asked Cambridge Analytica and also you to agree to an audit. Have you agreed?
Oh, but an audit of what? What, my phone? It's not like I have a massive server farm. I'm just a guy. Like, what do they want to audit? And why, I don't understand. Like, what, they want to look at my phone? Mm-hmm. Like, you know, they haven't explained to me what that is. And I, you know, I don't get, like, what is it that they want to do?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm the person coming forward. I'm the one telling people that this program has happened. So I don't understand, you know, why it is that they need to do this. We agreed last week with their lawyers that we would sit down and collaborate on this. Facebook's only doing something now because I'm coming out and speaking out. They didn't do, you know, it's only, so for them to turn around and try to punish me, you know, I think, I just don't think it's right. This is not how whistleblowers should be treated.
I want to get to. I understand that you're very upset, and rightfully so, because you feel like you know, personally you have been sort of violated in some way, or that you're being punished for no reason.
Is it scary what he's saying? I mean, can you give us an example of how Facebook could potentially use our data, our phones?
See, if I talk about Facebook, Facebook has been using our data since very long. It is not a new thing for Facebook. Facebook runs on data selling only.
Okay.
And whenever we install any of the Facebook application or messenger, I'll give you a real life example. If I install a Facebook messenger, it is going to ask all the permissions from my phone, whether it is texting my friends on their behalf, on my behalf rather, or taking the access of my camera, taking the access of my media gallery, or taking access of any of my personal data.
So Facebook has access to your contacts, your messages, your camera, your microphone, everything in your phone. Facebook has access to.
Facebook has access to everything. And I'll give you a real life example. If I'm having a messenger and I'm not doing anything, my phone is just lying idle on table, and I'm searching a word called cat food. I'm just talking to my friends about cat food. After 2 days, I'll start seeing ads related to cat food on my Facebook profile. So
no, hang on. You are just keeping your phone there aside, just like my phone is here right now. Right?
Yes.
So I've got FB Messenger or FB app on. Example, right? Yes. FB Messenger already listening to this conversation?
Yes.
Because I've given it permission to use my microphone and my camera?
You have already given Facebook Messenger to listen whatever you are speaking. It has access to your microphone. Whatever you are speaking in real life, it is listened as per what you are speaking. This is something which I have also personally felt, and there was a survey done, and it was made clear that Facebook is listening to whatever you are saying, and ads are being manipulated to have better conversions.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy, Gopal Shankar Narayan? I mean, it sounds like espionage to me.
It is something that can be quite intimidating, and you know, unless you're really knee deep in the web, you possibly don't know the extent to which this kind of invasion that technology can cause as far as individuals are concerned. But on the larger issue, and something which you observed earlier, I was particularly I found this a little odd,
that we have gotten into such a tizzy about this particular issue that's happened with Facebook and all that. Media has been manipulating people's minds for decades now. Chomsky has written several books, so have many others. You will possibly know that there are many channels that we see on television even now which seem to be projecting only one political party as against. And that's been a matter of fact. Even in the US, you see the Fox taking a Republican view. You see your own CNN taking a different view. So we've seen that. We've seen that in television media. We've seen that even in print media to a large extent. So this is just an extension of it. Social media getting involved with voting preferences or trying to manipulate people's minds in a particular direction is something that we have come to expect.
No,
which
but,
is why
hang on. Go. There's a difference. If there is a channel that is giving you a particular political point of view, I have as a consumer, I as a consumer can tune out of that channel. I don't need to watch that channel, number one. Here in Facebook, first of all, it's not a political product.
You can do that in Facebook.
No, one second. One second. Facebook is not a political product. Number not. I mean, I don't read a newspaper to be in touch with my. Facebook, I mean, I've just downloaded the app. I'm not even using it. The phone is lying idle on the table. And a conversation that Kshitij and I are having here will tomorrow turn up as an ad. That's an invasion of my privacy.
Yes. Now the problem is this. Because we don't have a data protection law in India, and neither does the US in fact, we don't have any way of monitoring the contractual relationships that individuals have with platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. Now the problem is, as everybody knows, every time you sign up to take on an app or take on even Facebook, you have a very lengthy bunch of terms and conditions which you agree to. Now, the white paper that the Indian government's Committee on Data Protection has put out in January points out that there is a huge amount of lethargy that people have about going through the extensive terms and conditions, but they just accept it. So they actually give away their privacy rights, their rights to have their information shared, etc., are just given away, and access is given. Unless people are sophisticated enough to understand the nuances of basically legal jargon, or they are informed and given, consent rights. It's going to be a problem.
All right. Let me go back to Narendra Taneja and to Sanjay Jha. The fact of the matter is, today, Narendra Taneja, the IT minister came up on television, had a press conference, and said we'll even summon Mr. Zuckerberg if the need arises. But Mr. Zuckerberg was the one he met with in 2016, I think, when Zuckerberg had come down to India. Mr. Modi went to the Facebook headquarters in Palo Alto in 2015. If anybody is suspected of having close links with Facebook, it's the BJP. And what's this tall boast of we can summon Zuckerberg if the need arises? We can't find where Nirav Modi is.
Zaka, you make me laugh. I mean, as a Prime Minister, you meet 3-4 CEOs every day. I mean, if you are traveling to the US, he met with all CEOs. What does that? What
no,
does
he went to the Facebook headquarters.
He has close relations with everybody.
To the Facebook headquarters.
I mean, you go, but not only Facebook. He visited several headquarters, several companies. What does that mean? Does it mean they all become our friend? They become? Are you suggesting they become our ally?
No, I'm not.
We go there to promote India as a business destination.
Fair enough.
Just a second, Zaka. So that is just. I mean, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi visited so many places. Mr. Rahul Gandhi was in California recently. The original IT czar is advising Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Mr. Sam Petroda is India's original IT czar, and we have seen since Mr. Petroda started advising Mr. Rahul Gandhi, they have started using social media much more, and suddenly Mr. Rahul Gandhi has become a star on social media. So there is something happening. There is something going on.
Sudden popularity on social media has nothing to do.
Zaka, let me tell you, I think Ravi Shankar Prasad, Taneja ji, दूसरों को भी सुना कीजिए. Yeah, Zaka, let me tell you, Ravi Shankar Prasad has scored an outstanding self-goal. Let me tell you, where Facebook is concerned, everybody knows that end of day Facebook colluded. They allowed advertisements to happen which helped the Russians hack into the entire US election system. They influenced voter behavior. And by the way, for the record, Zaka, very critical, Robert Mercer, the one who's founded Cambridge Analytica, is a rabid right-wing fundamentalist. He supported Trump, he supported the Brexit, and there is an ideological compatibility with the BJP. So let me tell you, the truth is, in every sense, the needle is clearly pointing on the BJP.
Sanjay, don't sell this rubbish.
And if Ravi
Don't talk this rubbish.
Turn out with
Sanjay, don't talk this rubbish.
He needs to apologize.
What is this rubbish you are talking about? You introduced economic reforms in 1991.
But
you introduced economic reforms in 1991. So are you not the rightist? If that is the politicians, you go by
the politicians will fight with each other. The politicians will fight with each other.
Don't talk this rubbish.
The point is this. What are we to make of these big data companies?
You are the rightist of the first order.
One second, Narendra, let me ask Saket Modi and Pranesh Prakash's question. What are we to make of these big data companies? Are we going to get to a stage where in the 2019 elections is going to
about the intrusion in privacy when Facebook is listening to your conversation.
Yeah.
Let me clarify that even for Siri, it actually wakes up and starts listening to your, it starts listening to you. If you technically understand how that's working, it means every word that you're speaking around the phone is being translated from speech to text. The moment it sees the cue or that connect between the keywords, that is OK Google or Hey Siri, it wakes up and starts listening, converting everything else that it is listening around you. And this is a very small example of applications which every voice person has his likes, dislikes.
So this is like
you can manipulate his thoughts.
This is like a let me ultimately elections and voter behavior are going to be controlled and influenced by these big data companies. That worries you and me. That should worry you and me. Let's get our first set of callers. Mr. Subramaniam calling us from Bengaluru. He's our first caller tonight. Good evening to you, Mr. Subramaniam. What's your question to our panel, sir?
Yeah.
Hi.
Two things. Number one is that, if you are using any of these technology platforms on the social media,
Yeah.
I think you ought to understand that you are not going to be private any longer. You are going to be globally visible. Number two, to the gentleman from BJP, let me just request him and inform him that no single agency or a party or a political outfit can claim proprietary knowledge over the use of social media platforms. So be magnanimous enough to give it to other people who have also caught up with you.
Okay.
You had demonstrated leadership, very good. There are other people who happen to catch up with you with equal pace. So I think the gentleman has to be a little broad-minded to accept that.
Okay, that's a fair question. I'll ask that to Narendra. Let me get in one more caller. Mr. Shankar is calling us from Hyderabad. Good evening to you, Mr. Shankar.
Yeah, good evening. I am Shankar Chatterjee.
Yes, Mr.
I'd
Chatterjee.
like to, it is a good program, good discussion.
Yeah.
And I suggest, blaming each other will not serve the purpose. It is a very beautiful country. But the thing is that when there is this type of meeting Prime Minister, someone cannot be blamed. It is a part of that job.
Okay.
And India is having high image in the world. I visited many countries.
What's your question? What's your question, sir? Sir, what's your question? What's your question?
So this type of measures should be taken. Corruption, this type of things should not happen in future. This measures should be taken against corruption.
Okay. All right, Mr. Chatterjee, thank you for calling us from Hyderabad. Narendra, you want to respond to that? The reason why the BJP is responding and talking about Congress using CA is because they suddenly seem to be generating a lot of social media traction. Suddenly people are paying attention. Certainly they are paying attention to Rahul Gandhi's tweets.
No. On the contrary, what we are suggesting is, based on certain, information that we have access to, that Congress party suddenly they've started using it because we studied very closely how they use social media in Gujarat and the kind of catchwords
Why
which
you
were used
rattled,
there.
my friend?
And at the same time, we know that
Gandhi is becoming
how
more
they've-
popular than Mr.
and
Modi
how they are
accepted.
going about this thing and hiring companies with very shady kind of background, and involving people who know these things. We are not worried about this thing. Competition is fine, but what they are doing is against the law, and they are harvesting data,
No, but
in such
if
a
it is-
way
if it is
which
against the
illegal.
law- No,
so
no,
that's
sir,
what
sir,
our
sir.
charge is.
If it is
That's
against
what we are
the law,
pointing to.
if
As
it-
far as
sir, if it is
competition,
against
we
the
never
law,
worry.
if it
Competition
is
we never
against the law,
not worried about.
Sir, if it is against the law, why not file a complaint against them? Why not file an FIR against the Congress social media head, against the Congress president? Make this a criminal case. You're saying it's illegal, right? File an FIR.
No, the point is that we are making the charge, and we are a political party, we're making the charge and we're waiting for, now we are listening to the Congress reaction and
Okay.
we'll study it further and do whatever is necessary.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, quick response. I've got one more caller. Sanjay Jha, quick response, please.
Zaka, 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Yeah, it is very rich on the part of the BJP spokesperson to lecture all of us viewers and the panelists on political morality. The truth is Narendra Modi is the world leader with the maximum number of fake followers at 60%. We want to know how did you manufacture them?
No, but Twitter
Point number
denied
two,
that.
The BJP
Twitter
IT
denied
cell
that.
is
Twitter
probably
denied
the
that.
most
You have got-
accredited
Oh,
information
no, Twitter
distribution,
denied that.
Rahul Gandhi has
entity
got
in the country,
We are all
in the
aware of that
world.
survey.
You mock videos,
Twitter
you
denied
produce
that.
fake news. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Taneja ji.
Okay,
You ought to be ashamed
let
of
me get a
yourself.
caller in, please. Let me get a caller
What are
in.
you talking here?
Saurav
Stop
is calling
misleading the
us.
viewers.
Saurav is
Have
calling
the
us from
honesty to
Noida.
admit that you fake news.
Saurav is
That
calling
you
us
live
from
on
Noida.
WhatsApp forwards.
Saurav, good evening to you, Mr. Saurav. Are you there?
Good evening, Jata.
Yeah, good evening. Go ahead. So what's your question?
Yeah, I would like to know from the same IT minister if he had come across to know about the Cambridge Analytica scam.
Uh-huh.
What is the law is he going to make sure that these Facebook should not be utilized in a wrong manner,
Okay.
the way it has been used right now?
What? All right.
Anyone from the BJP panelists can answer.
Okay, I'll get Gopal to respond to that. He's the lawyer on the panel tonight. I'm going to get one more caller in. Ali is calling us from Mumbai. Ali.
Yes, sir. I want to ask these parties. These parties use these social media platform to gain political campaign in political campaign. So, what I want to ask them, how will they act against these Facebook platform, social media, if they are violating our laws?
Great. I mean, if they are using social media to win elections, why should we expect them to act against those platforms? Thanks. Great question. Gopal, you want to answer that? What's the legal position? If my data is being breached, if my data is being violated or used by big data companies for political purposes, what can I do? What's the legal redressal I have?
Well, actually the only option you have today is to sue for breach of contract or to sue saying that the conditions of the contract were either oppressive or one-sided. That's the only way that an individual who finds that there has been actually a breach of his information having been shared, data, etc. Which is why the government last year, even out of the Aadhaar proceedings which are going on now, they realized that they were exposed on certain aspects of data protection, etc. Decided to set up a committee headed by former Justice B.N. Sri Krishna to go into this issue of creating a data protection law which would have many aspects which the citizens could use against this kind of measures where their data is breached and shared, etc. That committee, I think there are lots of people, including me, who feel that that committee is too government oriented and they need to have a more broad-based committee. They've come out with a white paper. They're expecting citizens to respond to that white paper. You can find it online. Your viewers can possibly write into the ministry and give their views and opinions, which I'm sure they will consider.
So here's the thing, Pranesh Prakash. I've got the first bunch of paragraphs of the terms of contract with both Google and Facebook that subscribers or viewers, call them what you want, users, sign up and agree to. And both of it says that if there's any dispute, then you have to file this in California. I mean, you can't possibly expect a person sitting in India to file a case and fight a case in Northern California where these companies are based. Again, I'm not sure that is adequate redressal, Pranesh Prakash.
Absolutely. So the statements that the law minister made today were bombastic rather than based on actual law, because there is no way that he can hold people liable for data theft, as he put it. In India right now, there is an anemic law under the Information Technology Act, Section 43A, which hardly is ever used and isn't worth much. So we don't have a data protection law. So under what law would he actually prosecute people?
When he says, Mr. Zuckerberg, we won't mind even summoning you if we have such evidence, what is that? That's just a tall boast?
Absolutely. There is no legal basis for that. And as a law minister, he should know that. Indeed, we've been waiting for more than 6 years since the Justice A.P. Shah group of experts submitted its report on privacy, and still we don't have a law. Now there's a new committee, as Gopal Shankar Narayan pointed out, and we still don't have a law that can actually hold companies liable in India.
Taneja.
And we need a framework for liability. We need a framework for privacy by design.
Just a tall boast by the minister when he says, oh, Mr. Zuckerberg, we can hold you accountable. That's just a tall boast, Taneja.
No, not at all, not at all. When the minister says that we will summon the Facebook chief, that's what he means. And by the way, if you read the Western newspaper,
he doesn't have the powers. He doesn't have the powers.
Let's convey a similar message.
Enjoying the lovely weather.
He doesn't have the powers.
The power is there because the powers are there because FB has got a big base in India. They have got a very big base in India. That's the power. Power is not necessarily written here or there. The power is a business enterprise,
it started after
and they've got a big base in India. So that gives us power.
Okay, let me get more callers. Let me get more callers.
That gives us power.
More callers. Mr. Ashik is calling us tonight from Nashik in Maharashtra. Good evening.
Power of Narendra Modi's heart.
Good evening to you, Mr. Ashik. Yeah, good evening. What's your question? So what's your
Sir, my question is for the panelist who is in the favor of BJP.
Yes, sir.
My question is why all of a sudden all these people are so much certain about the use of social media.
Okay.
What about the meeting of Narendra Modi with the head of Facebook after the win of election in 2014 with Zuckerberg?
Okay.
Was that also because of the social media, the win of BJP in 2014?
All right. Thank you for your question. Next caller, and I think this will be the final caller, Rakesh Sani.
Exactly.
Rakesh Sani is calling us from Gurgaon.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Sani. Yes, good evening. What's your question?
I have one question from Ms. Not question, but
okay.
I know something. Mr. Taneja says brings in Sam Pitroda. The phone he is using, the mobile phone, is something which Sam Pitroda brought into India.
Okay.
He was one. Secondly, we talk only about social media. What about the apps we download?
True.
They also take everything from our agreement for
yeah, that's true.
Taking up address book, everything, camera, everything.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So the apps are equally dangerous for us.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. All right, thank you very much, Mr. Sani. Mrs. Taneja, I want to respond to that. First question on whether Mr. Modi's trip to the Facebook headquarters was a thank you note, and number two about the point about Sam Pitroda.
Mr. Pitroda.
Yeah.
You see, first of all, this thank you note and all that, Mr. Modi as Chief Minister earlier and the Prime Minister, he's invited and he visits number of business enterprises across the country, only one objective in mind, and that is to bring investment in India and to help and expand India's economy. He's not doing it for personal reasons.
Defense.
Unlike some other politicians. Number two, this is precisely what I said, that Mr. Pitroda is the original IT czar, but he is a politician now. He is a politician now, and he is helping Mr. Rahul Gandhi, with his expertise of IT, and that's why we see this wonderful.
Okay, 10-second rebuttal. I want to give Kshitij the
that's why we are
final
mining and harvesting all social media data. That's precisely my charge.
30-second rebuttal, then I'll give the final word to Kshitij.
Will Ravi Shankar Prasad?
Yes, sir.
1 minute. Will Ravi Shankar Prasad and Naresh Taneja tell the people of India what about the Aadhaar accounts of the citizens of India that are hacked and sold? Can you
Oh,
please
wow.
answer what are you doing to protect Aadhaar
That's-
accounts in India? Nothing.
that's a whole
He's
new debate
threatening Mark
altogether.
Zuckerberg,
We can have a
which you
debate
know
on
you can
that.
do nothing
We'll-
about.
We have a debate. Sanjay Shah, protect.
Aadhaar.
If you have nothing to hide, don't
Yeah,
worry.
we have a debate
If
on
you have
that.
not,
You agree,
if
right?
you're not
So you
part of the
agree.
Congress
It's a
gang
national security
which has
threat.
stolen 12
And
lakh
my
crores,
right to
don't
privacy
worry.
is gone.
You personally don't worry. If you were not part of the
My dear
gang
friends,
that
stop
looted 12
scoring
lakh
cheap
crores of
political
India's poor
points
people.
that are becoming self-goals.
Yeah, 12 lakh crores. If you were not part of the gang, don't worry.
Doing it.
Gentlemen,
That's it.
that's a wrap, Kshitij.
Sanjay, don't worry, you are safe. Even you
as
were
a
not part of the
user-
gang that looted
As
India.
a user, what avenue do I have? Other than not using these apps, not downloading these apps, what else can I do to ensure that my data is protected?
Honestly, you cannot do without using these apps. If
Yeah,
I
of
say
course.
I'm going somewhere, Google knows where I am going and Google diverts my way where I have to go. If I am seeing a way, it is 22 minutes slower way or 22 minutes faster way, Google diverts me. So it is Google who drives me. I don't drive my car, Google drives my car. It decides the direction where I am moving to. So everything what we are doing, and we have our cell phones around with us, everything is getting manipulated right now. We are getting driven by these activities. These big
Driving
companies.
is one thing. Democracy is something else. I
Yes.
mean, undermining democracy is
Talking about
is
democracy,
crazy.
yeah, talking about democracy, yes, I would totally agree that some of the political parties, the decisions are entirely being made by public seeing the effects of social media. Social media is one of the major deciding factors right now in politics in today's era. Earlier we used to talk about just physical campaigns. Now we talk majorly about social media campaigns. What is going to happen on social media? That is something which is going to constitute a lot of budget of all political parties.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank all my guests. But as I wrap up and as we head to the break, I'm going to play out a short chunk. You can hear from the man who ran the first ever successful social media campaign to win an election, and that was the former US President Barack Obama. He was here a few months ago at the Hindustan Times Leadership Summit, and this man is a beneficiary. He's a social media product. He's a social media revolution. He won his first ever election thanks in large part to the social media revolution in the United States. And he says, today it's got to a point, 10 years on, he won his first election in 2008, 10 years on, it's got to a point where social media, the disadvantages of it, the negatives of it are far outweighing the positives, in as much as today we've created echo chambers. So the right wing speaks only to the right wing, the liberals speak only to the liberals, and there's no conversation between these echo chambers, between these silos, and that, he says, is undermining one of the very basic facets of democracy. On our break, this is Barack Obama.